it's a strange thing that is
Yeah.
like sexism is rampant throughout the feminist movement. And I
Mhm.
get it. I get it because a lot of women are treated like shit by dudes and vice
Right.
versa. Uh,
Mhm.
but I just don't think your own personal experience can write off a whole gender.
Right.
They,
I
they,
agree with you.
there are so many people that come out and like, and you know, you've had your over the last 4 months since you put out your leaving the progressive left video.
Mhm.
You've had attack pieces come out, and before that as well, you've had a lot of
For
attack
that, for
pieces.
years.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and based on your opinions on certain subjects, and if you don't toe the line, then you are the devil. You are the evil side of everything that they are fighting against. And I feel like you, and not just you particularly, but people who are these far right people, these people who are labeled far right, like me. Like, I'm not far right at all. I don't, I've got, for me, basically, I've got like what I think most people should have. Pick the best from the
Mhm.
left and the best from the right, and then sit in the
That's
middle.
what I do. That's what
Absolutely.
I feel like I do, which is why I get hate from both sides. But
Yeah,
I still stand by my morals. Yeah.
as you should. You need
Right.
to be this martyr for your own
Of
opinions.
course.
It is
Yeah.
dangerous to have opinions in the modern world. And I mean, I was mentioning this to Zuby last week.
I
Since
love him.
he's a great dude.
Yeah.
Since COVID, I basically made a career off just seeing ridiculous things and going, this is just outrageous, and here's why. And then COVID came out, and everyone started getting along just for a couple of weeks, and I was freaking the fuck out. I was like, oh my god, what am I going to make?
How am I gonna make my money?
And then post COVID, or since it hasn't been as big of an issue, still a big issue in America and in parts of Australia now as well. It's kicking back off, but people have just lost the plot. They have lost their minds, and now more than ever, it's all about groups. It's all about labels. It's like, there is so much division everywhere, and I mean, I'm totally speaking out of my ass here, but I feel like gay, lesbian people have been fighting for so long to be welcome everywhere, which I feel, and maybe you disagree, but I feel, particularly in my life, they're welcome everywhere, everywhere I go. Anyway, does this division just make it more difficult for people to take, your lifestyle, which doesn't affect anybody else, but for some reason people really, need to talk about it? Do you think division just makes it harder to be your normal everyday self?
100%. That's why I made that video. Like that video that went viral. That's why I made it. It got to the point where I tell this in any interview that I do, anytime I talk about this, I tell this story. In November, I went to Vegas to the adult film convention or whatever it was, because a few of my friends are in the industry. And my friend Tara Babcock, who's another YouTuber, who's actually not a porn star, but that's her actual name, by the way, Tara Babcock. Such a porn star name. We had never met in person, and we only knew each other very briefly. And I think I was like, we should make videos, while we're out there, because that's like, I'm a workaholic. I always want to work and have fun at the same time. And I was going out there to see her and my friend Paige, and she's like, yeah, I looked at your bio and I got nervous. I thought you were going to be this crazy SJW, crazy woke person. And I was like, why? She's like, well, it had women empowerment in your bio with a little rainbow flag. And I was like, oh my God, I can't even have like an LGBT rainbow flag and I can't even have women empowerment in my bio on Twitter without people thinking I'm part of this crazy movement. It's too much. And that's why people like, Brandon and Blair and myself are joining like the walk away movement, which is, I guess originally it was all about walking away from the Democratic campaign. But for a lot of us, it has a lot more social implications. It's a lot more social issues as well. It's just like half of the things that the new LGBT people, the more broad spectrum of LGBT people, which is also what we don't agree with, like all the new genders and stuff.
Yeah.
More than half of that stuff is stuff that we didn't sign up for. We signed up for equal rights. At this point, we pretty much have equal rights. There's some states, that have certain issues that we're still working on, but for the most part, we have what we wanted. And now they're coming out, the far left, whatever you want to call them, they're coming out with all these other issues that they're making up as they go along. I'm assuming to stay in business, or maybe in their minds they truly do believe that these are issues. But even if they are issues that they think exist, we didn't sign up for those. So a lot of us are just, we're over it, and we're getting kicked out of our own community for what? For fighting before these people even came along, you know? It's crazy.